Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Gaming Banter with David and Ryan. We have a new guest this week, Aaron, who's one of our main developers on the website.
Woo
So,
woo!
say hello,
Yay!
Aaron.
Been chained to my desk for a very long time. It's nice to get out.
They don't let me out. Somebody call for
Get
help.
back in the basement. And
Yeah,
we
they
have
let me out only once in a while.
only
Talk
once in a
about
while
video
to
games.
talk about video games for the site. And then we also have David, as usual.
Hey everybody, I've got a beard now. Did I have a beard last time? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember if you had a beard or not, but no, you would have because you were growing it. But anyways, so this week we're going to talk about a game that was announced back in September of last year, which is Homeworld Shipbreakers. In previous episodes, we've talked about Homeworld HD, Homeworld 2 HD, the remakes, but they announced a new game, which is going to be a prequel, and Aaron's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I've done some research on it. Obviously, I'm a huge Homeworld fan. From what I can tell, it's like ground-based Homeworld with 3D environments. So you can still zoom out just like you could in Homeworld, but it's like limited 3D. It's like zooming out over Earth rather than zooming out over space. So I don't know how that's going to work. And you're essentially in command of this very large ground-crawling vessel that goes and harvests these ships on this planet that apparently has a lot of shipwrecks on it. So not sure how that happened, and then you fight other groups that are harvesting ships. So yeah, interesting
That's it.
concept.
Yeah, I mean, so Aaron, you and I both played a lot of Homeworld, and I don't think David has played a lot, but um, in the original Homeworld game, you started off at Karak, which is kind of your perceived Homeworld. And without going into spoilers or anything like that, it seemed like a pretty unified place. So I guess are they making this like Karakians fighting each other, or?
Well, from what I read about the background story, essentially the game comes in right after a major civil war. So these vehicles that you're commanding were initially war vehicles, and what happened is they got converted into being colonization vehicles. And then now this new planet was discovered with all these shipwrecks. I don't know if there's some sort of gravity well or something that pulls ships down, or ships just get really dumb around this planet. But essentially, they're reusing these military vehicles to now harvest shipwrecks, which, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it scares me, to be honest.
It it really does.
Because I'm kind of a Homeworld purist, and it's a game that I grew up with, and it was a space real-time strategy game, 3D environments. You go around, you build your ships, and your ships persist from one mission to the next. You don't start off with new ships or a different configuration or whatever. Like whatever you save and like plan well for in the previous mission, you get to the next one with. And so it concerns me twofold because one, I look at that and I say, well, am I going to get to keep my units from mission to mission? And then two, we're going from a space game, which has always been a space game, to a ground-based game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think about that, David? What are your thoughts?
I'm not as familiar with the Homeworld games. I may have played it a long time ago or something along the lines like I've played games with the like larger scale 3D space battles, and I like that a lot. I do. I feel like that's a neat niche and something that's harder to find than a ground thing. A ground thing makes me think, Civilization or like StarCraft or something. Like if it's a battle and you're on a flat ground and you're commanding an army, there's a fair amount of that out there. So it kind of takes away some of the uniqueness and some of the added reason to, at least in my book, to play it because I like something that's kind of different, a different kind of game. You don't want to play checkers on a red board and checkers on a blue board. You want to play checkers and chess. You want to have different games, not just kind of different looking games. And so yeah, that's disappointing. I don't think interested to see where they go with it. And yeah, it feels like a downgrade to me. In a sense, I guess I could get why they would take it out. I know, like in World of Warcraft, fighting in the water is always like wonky feeling, and there's a lot of games where, what's it, Monster Hunter. I was playing some of that, and fighting in the water was like wonky, and kind of dealing with that full 3D environment can be maybe disorienting or difficult sometimes. So maybe that's why they took it out. Maybe
Hmm.
like I know I enjoyed it, but maybe for a lot of people that was one of the major top 5 complaints, and they said, hey, what if we make it on the ground this time? Maybe it'll have a better mass appeal. Uh, the downside or the sad part about, I guess, a business is overall they want the most mass appeal, and sometimes that means taking out the flavor or the things that made it particularly special to certain individuals.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the way I look at it is, let's use StarCraft as an example. If I'm Blizzard and I release a game like StarCraft, but in the point of view of space battles, that would be a lot of fun. Like you get to be like in a Wraith or a Valkyrie or and that's StarCraft original. But being the same kind of vehicles, but going around through the battles, like that could be a lot of fun. And that's taking a successful franchise and doing a side game that's kind of part of the story. I feel like they're trying to do that, but the game hasn't been a super successful franchise for a number of years. So I don't know why. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
So careful. First of all, Blizzard might steal your idea there, and soon there's going to be a StarCraft space battles
We
game,
demand a share of the profit.
which would be really awesome. We do demand a share, but I think the way they can make it work still on the ground is they're kind of going about this as, okay, we have this storyline of game, and okay, let's try to do it on the ground and show people a bit more depth in this genre, or what is it called? This franchise. That's what I'm looking for. And so they're going to keep the cameras the same. One of the best things about the initial game was that the cameras worked really well for a 3D game. So unlike a lot of 3D games, like where you're talking about the water being weird and all that, in this game, like, you could zoom out, zoom in, and you could focus on individual units. And as I was watching videos on it, you can do the same thing. The thing that was cool, though, about the original games is having these giant space combats that you could come at people from all the angles, the full 3D environment. And I think that's what this game's going to be lacking. So,
Well, that's
yeah.
the thing that terrified me the most. Like,
Yeah.
I'd have my resource operation off on this asteroid area, and then all of a sudden something's coming from beneath me that I didn't even, like, my camera angle didn't show it, because
Yep.
it only shows you that limited range of motion. And so it's just like, that was part of the attraction to it. So it does concern me a little bit. But
Also, the ability to take over enemy ships was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I
in Homeworld. So
do think
they
I
could
played
keep
that game then.
Yeah.
I like anytime you can steal something.
Yeah,
If
that's
that
always
makes
fun.
sense. It's like you get to beat the enemy, and then also now you've got a new ship. That's a pirate game I played like that as well. Like
Yeah.
you'd always focus on boarding the ship versus destroying it, because then you had it.
Yeah, you had to be
Yeah.
really careful too, because you had to damage the ship just enough so that you could steal it, and then you'd get like ships that you couldn't normally get, so they'd be like alien ships, and that was really, really cool for me. By the end, I had like this fleet that I should not have had. I pretty much captured every ship in the game. So
I know it's got that nice kind of almost like Pokemon feel in both that you're collecting up kind of everything, but also like in Pokemon, you get pretty high level and you can kill most things. Like you're running through the jungle and the high grass, and you kill stuff in one shot or something with your main Pokemon. But then you come across one that you don't have, and now it's a very different situation. It's about getting it as low as possible.
without killing it.
Without killing it, and then trying to capture it without it running away. I've been playing Pokemon, and there's one that there's a couple, but there's one that self-destructs. Ones that have either recoil, so they do something that damages them a little bit as well, or ones that will self-destruct and stuff, and you're like trying to catch it, and it keeps attacking you and damaging itself, and you're like, no. But so that it kind of makes the game more difficult, but again, it gives you an additional reward for it. So if things are going wrong, blow up all the enemy ships and get it done. But if you feel like I think I can get in the upper hand here, I wonder what I can get out of this. You don't feel like, oh, I got the upper hand now, it's boring, I'm just going to plow through them. Now you're like, it's still difficult because I want to keep the upper hand. I don't want to lose that, but I want to start taking as many of these ships as I can. So it gives it different levels of difficulty. I don't remember, we were talking about that on Mech Warrior as well. How like you take out the legs, and if you took out the legs of all the enemy, like decapacitated them, the other mechs, and afterwards you got any weapons that weren't damaged. So it wasn't just like blasting people with exploding weapons and like stuff. Because I think it was like missile weapons, and they were easier to kind of hit with, but then they were more likely to just destroy the whole thing. So I'd get like the laser weapons, so I could just like shoot out the feet of everyone. I'm running around and shooting out the feet and getting all the sweet.
And then you get to drive the mech later on then too if you take out its legs. So, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of DayZ. I've been playing some DayZ with one of our other guys, Mike, and like I played at E3 and I wasn't too impressed, to be honest. Of course, it it was still in early stages and this, that, and the other. So, give it the benefit of the doubt.
Wasn't working.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of that was just who would think that putting a tower inside of a wooden box for 12 hours a day for 4 days would cause a computer not to run properly. Sarcasm intended.
Sarcasm intended. In case you've never overheated a computer.
Yeah, but no, it's really cool because if I'm going around and there's various levels of damage to each of the items that you find, and so I could find an item that, for example, let me say I kill a player, and I shoot him and I damage his jacket. So his jacket isn't quite as good as before, or I damage his gun, or I damage his ammunition so he can't use it. There's all kinds of stuff with that, or you don't want to eat damaged fruit because it's rotten and it'll make you throw up, and so it's just anywhere where there's realism, where you can take over things. And in Homeworld, that was the coolest thing. I could take over any ship, and it was also terrifying because you're coming at an enemy fleet. It's like, oh yeah, I've got more ships than them. I'm gonna beat them, and then 4 of their ships end up being these ships that take over your ships, and then they come in. You're like, no, that's my destroyer. I don't want you to take my destroyer. And they take over your destroyer, and then the fight that was supposed to go really well for you, you end up getting decimated because they took over your biggest ship. Which was scary. I remember I took over one ship that was this giant sperm, and it's this really long ship, and
that's actually the name of it. The SS
the giant sperm. Yeah.
Anyways, I might edit that part out.
How many children watch this show?
How many children watch this show?
Our largest audience is actually under 12.
At least 5.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it concerns me, but I am glad to see the franchise get revived. Maybe it will be a case like StarCraft where they bring back the franchise and just do maybe this is just the first game because they were already in development of it and they just decided to give it a Homeworld theme for the storyline. So, maybe they're trying to turn into Star Wars, where you have the Star Wars games that are Lego Star Wars, you have the Star Wars games where you're a Jedi, where you're a starfighter, I'm not saying that it's not without potential, but it does concern me. And I hope that they do a really good job with it because it's a franchise that I really love. But if they don't, then, it'll be like all my other disappointments in life.
It could be like the new Mech Warrior game that was supposed to come out, how many years ago, and they keep canceling. I mean, hopefully not, but
well, and
these franchises like this.
It's from Gearbox, who brought out the game that you couldn't bring out, Duke Nukem Forever, and
yeah.
So I mean, they brought out a game which opinions of that game aside,
yes.
The fact is they did bring out something, and there probably will never be a Duke Nukem game ever made again. But
Duke Nukem is no longer forever. Let's put it that way.
Duke Nukem Final Nail. In the coffin.
That would have been a better title.
More case appropriate.
Yeah, I still remember the Duke Nukem soundboards, and I've got balls of steel, and so many funny YouTube videos on that. But anyways, closing comments. David, what do you think about the game overall? Excited or apprehensive?
I guess I'm gonna try to stay optimistic. I feel like unless you get up, the world can't knock you down again. Is that optimism? No, I don't know. I mean, if they could do something interesting or different, or just create a really enjoyable experience. But it is disappointing that they're taking away something that was kind of unique and fun, and just turning it into something that seems more easily found in the market. But yeah, I hope they do well. Hopefully, it's like maybe them trying to break back in kind of in a safe way, and then they're going to bring out something really cool if this goes well. So that's my hope.
Aaron.
Yeah, so I hope this is just their intro back into the franchise, and I'll buy the game either way. I'm a Homeworld fan, but I really hope that I see a Homeworld 3 after this.
Awesome. So I guess that would be apprehensive.
Yeah,
Excited?
I'm neutral. We'll see.
Cautiously optimistic.
It's early. Yeah,
Cautiously up. Well,
it could be awesome.
I will say that I am optimistic because, like you said, I'm excited to see a new Homeworld game come out. I'm excited to see the Homeworld HD remakes and play those. Those are going to be fun. Yeah, so I would say I'm excited to see it happen, and I hope they do a good job. And Blizzard, if you make a StarCraft space simulator, I will love you forever.
They're supposed to make that like that Ghost game that was supposed to be kind of like a Splinter Cell or like a stealth shooter game, but it didn't end up coming out.
I think they ended up making StarCraft 2 instead.
Oh, great!
So
no, actually, I do StarCraft 2.
One of the best, arguably one of the better games made in the last decade.
Till Homeworld 2 comes out.
Till Homeworld 2 comes out. Well, Homeworld 3.
There are 3.
Homeworld Shipbreakers.
Homeworld
Shipbreakers.
Yeah.
By shipbreakers, we mean you don't have any ships. Is that cool with you?
All the ships crash.
Well, anyways, guys, thanks for joining us this week, and we will catch you later. So take it easy. See ya.
Bye. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and feel free to take a look at our website, www.ultimategamedb.com, and subscribe to our channel. We would love to see you there.
Definitely also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you like us or follow us, you'll be able to see when we're posting new shows and also a lot of articles. The Ultimate Game Database posts a lot of stuff on what games are coming out that week, how the consoles are doing on the console wars, a lot of fascinating stuff.
Yeah, so subscribe, like us, tweet us, and we will see you next week. Bye!